A left turn and a left downwind. Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, 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 go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final, you're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold, take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final, runway 9er clear to land.
Okay, all right, let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
Oh, we had one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger, let's see, what we got, a tricycle, put it down, tricycle, put it down, put it down. Tail dragger, down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here, you cleared to land on 9 all the way to the white dot, go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Canard, just come to the runway and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, and let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Canard's going to have to go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. You do not descend. Do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. You can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the downwinds. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. Clear to land on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow out follow on the final. And as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Canard?
Yeah, Canard.
All right, Canard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just maintain VFR. I don't know what else is up there above you. Probably most everybody's down here, so just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get you back here.
Canard's got the jet in sight.
Okay, the RV, maybe an RV-10, whatever, here on final. Keep your speed up and go all the way down to the, aim for the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. Aim for the green dot, and I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around. Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that. After 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. Put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep it.
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Hello, and a very A very good evening to everyone who's joined us tonight, and thank you very much for joining us. And before we go any further, we need to thank our sponsors who support this show, and without them, what's all that noise? Who's that rumbling?
It's Dave moving his microphone. Stop it, Dave.
Dave, I've got to start again now. Thank you very much, Sky Demon, for supporting this show. Without you, it wouldn't be possible, and we truly appreciate it. If you out there are one of those rare people who hasn't tried Sky Demon, there probably aren't many, if any of those people at all, then head on over to their website. You can, or to the App Store or Google Play Store, download a copy, and you get a free 30-day trial to see what it's all about. And as part of the Sky Demon education, we've got the Sky Demon Top Tip this week, brought to you by Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah from Sky Demon, and this is another top tip.
If you make a mistake when planning a route and you need to remove a waypoint that you've accidentally made, you can tap undo. Or hold your finger on the waypoint and choose remove. Or just drag the waypoint over an existing waypoint.
For more information about using Sky Demon, take a look at our user guide, which you can access from our website.
And there you go. I realise it's not traditional to read user guides, but I have to say, there was a time when I used to email Sky Demon and say, "Quite good if it could do this," and I got bored. No, I didn't get bored, but I always used to get a reply when it does do this. That's how you do it.
I'm coming to the conclusion now that there are things that in Sky Demon that I realise that I never knew it did, and it's like every week I've learned something new.
Yeah, me too. I knew 2 of the 3 ways of messing up a mistake there, but I didn't know the 3rd way. So you learn something new. So I think I need to tell you about what's going on tonight. Well, coming up very shortly, we've got Simon Keeling's recorded weather. Still hasn't got the courage to come and face his critics after the sleep weather forecast. Can't be too harsh on him. So if you're watching, Simon, hi, I hope you're having a good time wherever you are in the sunshine of Wales or Birmingham or wherever it is. But anyway, hope that's good. And we've got a whole bunch of news. We've got our Rat Watch. We've got a great interview. And we've got an announcement about a new Livestream extra, which we'll come to a little bit later on. We've got a little sneak video, which will give you which is really about next week's guest. He made a kind of cameo appearance in last week's comments, as it were. So we'll run you a little bit of that video, and we'll look forward to him next week. And well, 3 of us will be looking forward to him next week at least. Hey, Dave. Right, and unless I've forgotten something else, which I don't think I have this week, I think it's time to run Simon Keeling's Weekend Weather Watch. Here you go.
Evening, everyone. Hope you've had a good flying week. Unfortunately, the weekend not looking particularly brilliant at the moment. It's a real messy one. We'll try and pick out a little bit of detail in just a second. But this is how tomorrow shapes up. Those 3 fronts should really give the game away as far as how messy the weather situation is going to be. I think for tomorrow we have got some clouds, some low clouds, some drizzle affecting southern parts of England. Fairly low bases here, probably at around 1,000 to 2,000 feet in some places. Western Scotland sees some rain, Northwest Ireland seeing some rain as well. Generally non-VFRable here. Bases probably less than 1,000 feet. In most places. Southern Scotland as well, during the course of the day, rain spreads through there. The cloud basis will be lowering as the day goes on, so just be aware of that. Northeast Scotland looking a little bit better. Actually, between the fronts as well, it looks like we get generally flyable conditions across most parts of northern and central England, of Wales, possibly of southern parts of Ireland as well. Bases around 3,000 to 4,000 feet. Now, headed in towards Saturday, and Saturday is looking like it's a bit of a forecasting nightmare, to be absolutely honest with you. We've got low pressure that's moving into the west of Ireland, brings cloud with it as these fronts spread northwards. And I think what else it does as well is bring lots of low cloud to western coast of Wales, southwest England, possibly onto southern coast of England as well. So generally non-VFRable in these places. You can see here, look, how the cloud ceiling forecast trying to pick out those low bases, those yellow colours across southern England and across parts of Ireland. Also got some showers affecting northern and western parts of Scotland. Elsewhere, generally it is VFRable, bases of around 3,000 to 4,000 feet, tops at about 10,000 feet. So it's kind of within this area that looks most flyable on Saturday. Again, picked up quite well by the cloud ceiling forecasts here. And then on to Sunday, low pressure is still there, and what a mess again. We've got, I think, the most solid of the fronts, southern parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland, far north of England. Here base is probably less than 1,000 feet, tops of around 12,000 feet. Central and northern Scotland much better. Base is about 3,000 or 4,000 feet. Trailing cold front across parts of England, southwest England and Wales. Watch for that one catching you out, because it could suddenly lower bases to around 1,000 to 2,000 feet. Tops at about 9,000 feet on that. And again, across Ireland, Southern Ireland, generally flyable. Now, for much of southeast England and the eastern parts of the Midlands, it looks flyable again, but I think these southern coasts could be troubled again by some low cloud, mist and fog. Check the forecast carefully on Sunday for that one. And you see here the cloud ceilings. That just tells you the bit of a mess that it is, but hopefully it's highlighted those same areas as being generally non-VFRable as we've seen on the main chart. It's going to be a busy forecasting weekend ahead. Now, if you want to be able to forecast better yourself, perhaps even better than me, get yourself along to Aviation Weather School Part 1. I'm booking now for my course on the consecutive Saturday mornings of the 18th and 25th of September. So we split it into 2 sessions between 09:30 and 12:30 hours over each of these Saturday mornings. And what I do is I show you how you can plan up to 5 days in advance, build your confidence in making predictions yourself so that you can absolutely maximise your own flying enjoyment. You can book your place now, find out more at weatherschool.co.uk. It'd be great to see you there. Okay, I will leave you with that for now. Hopefully we can get some flying in this weekend. There will be some gaps here and there. I don't think it's going to be one for particularly long trips though, but just keep your eye on the forecast for all the latest information. Okay, I'll leave you with that for now. Whatever you're doing, thanks again for watching. Keep the sun shining, and bye for now even. Have a great weekend, guys. See you.
Simon sounded quite annoyed at that forecast.
It's like, this is very hard.
Yeah.
It's like, where's our proper sunny? We just need a summer forecast. It's nice. Go fly.
I was looking at that, and for those of you watching from the UK rather than overseas who are thinking of flying to Popham on Saturday or Sunday, it looks like it's going to be an interesting morning for flying. But as we saw with Leeds last week, the forecast for Leeds all day last week had thunderstorms and all sorts of horrible stuff in it that never actually really transpired, as I understand it. So you never really know. So check it on the day and see what it's like then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Excuse me. Right. Time for some news. I do believe.
News. So first off, and 1 week in. So out last week is the new issue of Flyer. In there, you'll find 8 pages on some of the highlights of the Experimental Aircraft Association's annual AirVenture show in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. A feature about 5 friends who enjoy formation aeros and created their own team to cover their flying costs. They're also on the lookout for a 6th member to join. So if you fancy that, take a look at that. Plus, there's a beautiful solstice flying adventure written by Paul Kiddell. Plus, there's 5 free landing fees for Flyer Club members. Don't forget, just £7.50 per quarter for now. And they are at Fenland, Holmbeck, Kingsmuir, Manchester Barton and North Coates in September.
I have just put a link to the issue in the comments. So if you haven't read your copy, then hit the link in the comments and take a look at the issue. And I have to say, Paul Kiddell's feature was stonking.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So
So
should inspire a whole bunch of people to fly on the longest day next year.
He's a great photographer. We ought to ask him how he takes his pictures, actually, because he gets some stunning pictures out of that bubble on his Eurostar.
I think he would tell you the secret is that you need a classic Eurostar with a DV panel in it, so that you don't have to take photos through the bubble.
Is that the secret?
I believe so. I think I see him in the comments. He may chime in. As Dave White says, Paul Kiddell stuff is always worth my time.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, Dave, I believe you out the window. Yeah, we know that. Was that out the DV window? Or? Dave, I believe you've got irritable bowel syndrome.
It's not me. It's it's Nats who've got the IBS. In this case, IBS Nats, air traffic people. So Nats has got IBS, the Internet Briefing System, which they've given a redesign, and it's gone live today. In fact, this is it on the screen. It's what they say is that basically the old system did look a bit dated, you have to say. Is got lots of new features, including a rolling news brief, a user manual, and lots of functionality which will enable users to tailor which information they want. There's also an interactive drone restrictions map for drone users. So anyway, it's only been up since midday. Had a quick look at it earlier, and it's fairly straightforward. It is a cleaner design. I went looking for the AIC section because I wanted to just check NOTAM, as you do. And I must admit, I was struggling to find it. You can put in, obviously, a route, but I was trying to find what's applicable over the whole of the UK. So maybe a bit of work, maybe a bit of getting used to it required.
The old system, although it looked a little bit dated, it had the slight advantage of the fact that everything worked on it.
It did, yeah.
Not quite the case here, but hopefully they'll get it together and it'll get improved. It's the first day. I mean, it's only safety critical information. Time sensitive. You don't really need to work straight away, does it? There you go. Ed.
Oh, is it me? Is it?
No, it's you. Yeah.
Yes. No, if you're feeling the need for speed, then save the date of the 19th of November 2021, as it's when the long-awaited sequel to the 1986, can you believe it, 1986, smash hit, amazing aviation film, Top Gun, and that's Top Gun Maverick, and that'll be officially released. So you can watch the latest trailer on flyer.co.uk. I know there's a link that someone will post. Who's looking forward to that?
Me.
Yes.
Yes. Definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
Is there a link somewhere?
There is.
Someone should post that. Yeah, no, yeah. We were going to play the trailer, but we were kind of not entirely sure that might have got us taken down or got us a copyright strike or something like that. So we didn't do that. So you can find the trailer, a link on the Fly website, or you can go to YouTube and just Google the trailer. Like most of you, like most of us, in fact, haven't already watched it a few times anyway, as it were.
I've got
Johnny,
the director's cut.
Have you? Is your VHS tape of the old one worn out yet?
Johnny probably wasn't even born when.
I was going to say a what?
Yes,
that's an acronym I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
it's funny little plastic rectangles.
Yeah.
Talking about acronyms, PMD. We skipped you earlier, so tell us about your PMD.
Yeah, not quite as cool as Top Gun, but if you've got a PMD, you're now okay to fly to the Channel Islands. Richard Hawkins, who's the AOPA head of the Channel Islands branch of AOPA, said that the director of civil aviation over there has no operational objection to flights from the UK registered aircraft being conducted to or from or within the Channel Islands. So if you've got PMD, you can fly over there. They're going to update their regulatory framework document to confirm all of that. And AOPA have also said that they are highly likely to be receiving information or confirmation rather about permit aircraft being able to operate there in the next few weeks, which is all good news.
Brilliant. That is very good news. And the other good thing about AOPA in the Channel Islands is if you're an AOPA member of the UK AOPA, it doesn't work if you're a member of US AOPA. If you're a member of UK AOPA, you used to, I think you still do, but it's worth checking, get 5% off your fuel, which was already lower cost anyway. So another 5%, it's a bit of a chunky discount. You probably only need to fill up, well, it depends which airplane you got, once or 100 times to pay for your membership. So that's a good thing. On other stuff happening in November, that's harking back to the Top Gun thing. Aviators Ball, it's back. Saturday, 20th of November. If you've Aviators Ball will be taking place at the Sofitel Hotel T5 London. If you've never been to that, it's a star-studded evening. Lots of fantastic prizes, lots of live music, lots of great food, and more than any of that, there are huge copious amounts of alcohol, which people seem to drink and end up slightly tipsy at the end of it. I've been a few times and occasionally had a headache in the morning. I don't really know why. So get yourself along to the Aviators Ball. Definitely worthwhile. We might even see if we can't get a couple of tables together or something. You never know. You have to get dressed up. You have to put like stuff on and everything. But apart from that.
Interesting note on Chris Sellen says, no avgas in Alderney at the moment, folks.
What? Ooh, that's not a good thing, is it?
Yeah.
No. We definitely want some avgas.
And Chris Winch says, I hope a discount still applies in Jersey and Guernsey. Or Bernsey, as he wrote.
That is good news. Last time I went to Alderney, I got told off so badly by air traffic. So I haven't been back since. Oh, that's another story that we'll go into. Personally, I think he was out of order, but there you go. He probably thought I was. Who knows? Right, Ed, tell us about Popham.
Popham. So it's a microlight trade show on this weekend. Ian and I will be there, dropping in on Saturday. So say hello to us. A reminder, if you're going, visitor tickets are booked in advance online, and there's a link going in the comments. Someone should post. But obviously, if you're there, say hello to us. We'll be looking around at what's new and probably be finding a bit of a video report in the week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's been a couple of years, I think, since I've been to Popham. So a little walk around, see some new faces, see what's going on in the microlight world. Hopefully there'll be a whole load of talk about the 600 kilogram stuff. Which when's that going before Parliament? August the 19th, isn't it? So
19th,
soon. Yeah.
Next Thursday, in fact.
Yeah.
We'll have a live streams, but I don't really understand it because Parliament's not sitting, is it? So what?
Who's it going
what
before?
happens?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what will get voted through because no one's there. Who knows?
Let's hope.
But yeah, we'll be there. So come and say hello. Come and find us. Claim your nothing. Claim your free flyer sticker. I might have some flyer stickers in my pocket or something. There you go. No fivers though. Not giving away fivers for sure. What else have we got? Dave.
Yes. A US company called Ampere has successfully flown a hybrid electric prototype aircraft in Scotland from Orkney to the mainland. The aircraft is based on a Cessna 337 with a 310 horsepower IO550 engine in the back and 130 kilowatt electric motor in the nose. Batteries are in that pod underneath. Ampere says the benefit is lower fuel burn and emissions by up to as much as 50%. And in a few weeks, they'll be repeating the demo flights from Exeter across Cornwall. The objective of all this, of course, is to try and produce something that will work on a small airliner, something like a 19-seat regional airliner. That's what they're aiming for. And these tests, demo flights, if you like, they're proving to people that it is feasible, should be possible at some point. And also probably to hoover up a bit of government cash as well.
I think there's a pot of money available, isn't it? We're certainly in an attractive place to come and demo and use that technology right now. But certainly, I'm looking at some of the specs for that Ampere aircraft. I think they've got something like a 2-hour power capacity to run that electric motor, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I feel a little bit sorry for the pilot the test pilots, because the original tests were done in Hawaii, weren't they?
That's it. You're going to Scotland.
I've got this great gig. I'm going to go and be flying this like semi-electric airplane around Hawaii, like flowers around little grass skirts, and I'm just going to have such a great time in Hawaii, cocktails on the beach after work and everything. And then one day he gets the memo going, by the way, you're going to Scotland.
Yeah.
Great place that it is, and I love Scotland. I think Scotland is an absolutely stunning place, but the Scottish climate and the Hawaiian climate are a little bit different. They don't give you those flowery things around your neck when you land at Oban, do they?
That's it. Yeah, people of Hawaii, we apologise for any stereotypes Ian may have applied there.
Yeah. Well, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right, Johnny, tell us about trucks. A truck.
Yeah. So this is, in a way, a bit of a similar story, really. So Zero Avia they've ground tested a new their 600 kilowatt electric powertrain that they're proposing to use in a 19-seat aircraft, and this is it mounted to a hyper truck, which I think is just an Oshkosh truck of some sort. But so they tested it on there, and not only did they do that, but it actually moved the truck under the power of the motor. It's a ZA600 motor. They've been doing ground testing in Hollister in California as part of the development process. And then they're going to be looking at doing the first test flying on Dornier 228 at Kemble at some point later this year. So similar thing, you can spend all your time testing the engine out in sunny California, and then when it comes to the real airplane,
you're coming to the West Country.
Yeah.
That's it. All I know is a Dornier 228 will fly a lot better than that truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Almost certainly. Yeah. And then after Kemble, it'll probably get to Glasgow or something. Where are we next? Dave, rolling in the hay.
Right, yes. So this is a story about Bodmin Airfield, which apparently is the largest traditional hay meadow in the southwest of England. This is some guys picking up seeds from the and examining the meadow. Apparently, Cornwall's botanical recorder, there is such a person who is a botanical recorder, just happened to be passing the airfield, spotted an orchid on the airfield verge. He stopped, asked the manager if he could have a quick look around, and found no fewer than 150 different species of wildflowers and 3,000 orchids. And it's quite a find. Anyway, it's all done by accident. The airfield manager, Jay Gates, said that for the past decade, they've only mown the runways and left the other areas to grow. They've used no herbicides, pesticides, or fertilizers, and it's just cut once a year by a local farmer for cattle fodder. So it's the perfect conditions for a hay meadow. Interestingly, other airfields might well be just as productive. The Cornwall Flying Club chairman, a chap called Darren Fern, said, "There is an opportunity for all airfields to be recognised as environmental heroes and not the villains for a change."
Yep.
Well, there were a whole bunch of orchids at Enstone, I do believe, at one point.
I think you might be
Still
right.
are. Paul Fowler was kind of curator of the orchids there. I think. Sorry, carry on.
It's one of those well-kept secrets amongst flyers. That actually, airfields, you walk around, usually quite peaceful, full of skylarks, things like that. A real wildlife haven.
Yeah, if I was the guy from Bodmin, I wouldn't be saying it's all happened by accident. I'd be going, yes, it's been part of our long-term wilding plan. Actually,
yeah, I meant this to happen.
We've known the runways. We do this on purpose, of course. What do you think? You think this stuff happens by accident? Of course it doesn't. No. Yeah, top tip. There you go. PR advice. Johnny, I think you're next. Are you? Are you next?
No, I think it might be me.
It's Ed.
Yes. Yeah, the other Johnny.
Last week's live stream interview guest, Zara Rutherford, who was due to depart on her round-the-world record attempt to be the youngest woman to fly solo around the world, has delayed her departure by a week. New departure date is the 18th of August. If you missed Zara's interview on the live stream, then you can catch up with it. There's a link in the comments.
Zara will be off next Wednesday then, I guess. I know she's been on
her stream microlight.
Yeah,
getting some maintenance training and a little bit more flight training there before heading off on type. And I think we're fitting some funky cameras to the wings or something like that. As I understand it. It's me next. It's this Johnny next, as it were. So on Monday, I'll come back to Monday. A little while ago, we ran a little story about a piece of paper that came, an ORS 4 thing that came from the CA about FAA certified pilots flying in the UK will need to get basically UK licenses from the 21st of December this year in order to remain legal. So quite a lot of consternation there, quite a lot of confusion, quite a lot of funny, ridiculous stuff going on. So on Monday evening at 7 p.m, we have a webinar with Nigel Webb, Arwin Jones, and a couple of others on a panel talking about the whole thing, who it applies to, what it applies to, what you need to do. We might have a little chat about some of the other stuff around it, but a whole load of factual stuff as well on effectively how, if you are currently flying on FAA certificates in the UK, that you will need to act. We may well ask the question about what the hell purpose is this serving and what good does it do and anything else, but there'll also be a whole load of factual stuff as well. So come and join us 7 bring your questions, some of which might even be answered. We might even be able to answer some of them. You never know. So look forward to seeing you there. Johnny. Yes,
What's next?
You're next, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, of course. So if you missed out on last week's live stream, we had a certain person in the comments that Ed's keen eye spotted him. A chap called Brian Turner, who you may or may not know as Just Plain Silly on YouTube. We featured him back in a couple of magazine issues ago. We had a YouTube feature where we each picked our top 5 YouTubers. And Brian was the very end of the feature. He was one of Dave's picks, Dave's last pick. And Dave had some quite interesting things to say about Brian. And Brian did.
Have a little clip.
Brian saw it and read it, and we've got a little clip to show you.
Hey guys, funny thing happened, and I just thought I'd share it for no reason at all. So a couple months back, there's this magazine out of the UK called Flyer magazine, and it's an general aviation magazine. And the editors picked their favorite YouTube channels, and one of the editors, everyone picked like their favorite 5 YouTube channels. And this guy, David Calderwood, is one of the guys. He picked his favorite 4 and then just chose this other YouTube channel just to kind of nitpick. So the 5th YouTube channel that he picked to be his not so much favorite, unfortunately, was mine. And so anyway, here's what he wrote about me.
If you've the intellect of a gnat, you'll probably like Just Plain Silly for a minute or two. Any higher life form will want to move on quicker. Brian Turner is a flight instructor and gets to fly a lot of aircraft and go places. This could be good. And humor is A+, but this is a poor imitation of the monkey's zany behavior.
For a while, I thought about doing a video called My Favorite 5 Editors at Flyer Magazine, just to be funny, but I decided not to do that. Anyway, today I saw they're having a live stream and just decided I would pipe in, and this happened.
Before we go on, I'd just like to say that we have some YouTube royalty in the comments tonight. Plain Silly. Some of you will be familiar with this YouTube channel. It's one of the funnier ones around. We ran a feature recently about our favorite YouTube channel, and this one popped up in Dave's, though Dave was a little bit critical. But anyway, hello, Just Plain Silly. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Why don't you come and be one of our guests?
Brilliant. Well, he's going to join us next week, so come back and you can. We don't know how we'll do it yet. Maybe we'll just leave him and Dave to chat it out for a full hour.
Maybe we should just replace Dave with Brian next week.
Well, I should say
have Brian as the guest newsreader.
I should say that when we thought up this feature, I did say I don't watch any YouTubers, apart from Tommy's Trade Secrets sometimes. And you Ed, told me I had to do it and gave me 5 YouTubers to go and look at. So I looked at them all and spent quite a lot of time looking at them, and I liked 4 of them. That's it.
Yeah. Well, Brian was pleased that you promoted him to the rank of flying instructor.
Yes, it does say on his website, because I looked it up, and it says I am not a certificated flight instructor. I obviously read it as I am a certificated flight instructor. Anyway, never mind.
His fans decided that it's just a UK endorsement that he's allowed to instruct over here. So.
There's been quite a lot of comments on his YouTube video that he made. Not all of them particularly complimentary, but there you go.
No, I think some people don't get the humour.
No, I think
British humour, people. But anyway, but thanks to Brian for being such a good sport, and we look forward to having him on next week.
Absolutely. So it should be a hoot next week, shouldn't it? Really. Okay. So what is next? Next is news of a new feature we're going to try out next week. So believe it or not. That's not a new. Johnny's looking really confused. It's like one of those Christian Dries press conferences at Friedrichshafen. He says, "Oh yeah, and at Diamond we're going to produce a 5-engine tilt rotor," and all of the Diamond staff go, "What?"
That's it. Ian's about to roll out the equivalent of the Flyer 5-engine tilt rotor.
Yeah, no, it's not quite that equivalent. So, although it might not seem like it, before this stream goes out on a Thursday evening, on Wednesday we kind of get together. virtually, as it were, and have a chat about what we're going to do and who's going to do what, etc., etc. We kind of put the whole thing together. So we thought what we do for club members only is after we've done that, so 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, we're just going to get together and do a little short live stream plus, which will just be on a link that you'll get emailed to you if you're a club member. We'll just go through any of the industry stuff that we've suddenly seen, any industry inside information, what we're going to do on the live stream, anything we've been doing. It won't last somewhere between 20 minutes and half an hour. So just a little insight, a little private insight, not quite as big or as long as this, but a little bit more private with a little bit. Yeah, so we'll give it a go. So we'll send some stuff out, and if it's rubbish and nobody likes it, we'll never do it again. If it's any good, we'll carry on doing it, and we'll see. So come and join us. I realise, and we all appreciate that 3 p.m. in the afternoon is not an ideal time to spend your time watching YouTube videos, but it will be available on the same link for you to watch the recording afterwards. But it's club members only, so if you get the link, please don't share it with anybody else. It's not a public thing. It's just one of the club member things. And there'll be some exclusive club member competitions in there as well, so that should be good. Right. I think it must be time for me to find my mouse pointer. There you go. There you go.
Right. So this week's Rat Watch, we're kicking off with the first one being this Saturday, 14th. This is at Old Warden, the Shuttleworth Flying Circus evening display. I'm going to move through these pretty rapidly. From the 15th to the 23rd of August, that's from Sunday onwards, at Carnoustie, golf course east of Dundee, there's the Women's Golf Championships, and there's a rat over that. The next one could be quite an awkward one. This is one that's over RAF Odium on Saturday the 14th. Red O's are going to be doing a flight there, and that's only just a little bit away from Popham, where the Microlite Trade Fair is going on. So, yeah, but what is it? 6 nautical miles across from there.
I think the rat is six. It's a 6 nautical mile circle going up to 4,000 feet. Don't trust me on this. Go and read the NATAM and make sure you get it right, because I might have got it wrong. But I do think it's 6 nautical miles up to 4,000 feet. But if you can see, the edge of that red circle is probably only 4 or 5 miles or something away from Popham. And obviously on Popham, at least if the weather clears up, there'll be literally hundreds of microlights and other aircraft making their way to Popham. So there's so if you're one of those people, just beware. I'm sure everyone would have fully briefed and everything beforehand, but just in case, beware, because it's not that far away. Those red things, they might stand out, but they go quite quickly. And you will get nicked if you bust the rat, for sure.
Yep. Okay, moving on. The next one is not a rat, but a NOTAM for Peterborough Conington for an aerobatic competition from the 19th to the 23rd of August. On the following weekend, the 21st and 22nd of August, next weekend, at Clambedra, there's the Royal Aero Club Air Races. That's this one here. And that's the end of the rats, but don't forget there are a bunch of temporary danger areas occasionally active for drones. These include Goodwood, Clambedra, Carnarvon, RAF Waddington, and RAF Lossiemouth. So they pop up every now and again.
Thank you. That's the end of that's the end of this week's Rat Watch. And if you really want to, as just a last double check belt and braces thing, you can always call the AIS information line, which will have a recorded message while you're on the way to the airfield of all the various bits and pieces. There you go. So interview time, Ed.
Excellent. So you might recall last week we had news about the junior British gliding team sweeping the board with multiple gold medals, as well as silver and bronze in the Junior European Gliding Championships. Well, Johnny caught up with team captain Clem and Allen to talk about the team win and what's involved in a gliding competition.
Clem and Allen, thank you very much for joining us on the Fly live stream. Just tell us a bit about yourself first and what happened back in July.
Hi, thank you. Yes, so my name's Clem, or Clements, and I've just come back a few weeks ago from being the British Junior Gliding Team Captain at the 11th Junior European Gliding Championships held in Pečūnai in Lithuania.
Fantastic. So just talk us through the competition itself. where's it held? Obviously, you just said that, but what constitutes a gliding competition for people that might not know?
So the Junior Europeans, this is the first time it's actually been held since 1998. It's only, I think, the 6th occurrence since its creation. What's more common is the Junior World Gliding Championships, which have been held every year. And I think there have been 11 or 12 of those since they were created. But this one was brought back because people thought it would be an exciting competition to hold, especially during COVID when other countries would find it harder to get into Europe. So it's held at an airfield in Lithuania called who held a lot of different, both normal senior world gliding championships and junior ones in the past as well. And the competition is held over 13 or 14 flying days, with normally a week of preparation and practice at the airfield beforehand. So all the different countries will assemble and spend a week practicing and 2 weeks competing at the airfield. And it was held in July this year.
Fantastic. Now, does it have to take sort of a 2-week process, or is that to allow for things like weather and things going wrong?
Yeah, so people don't fly it every day. So in gliding, we're quite particular about what weather we need. So we need the thermals to work so that people can stay airborne and fly long distances. So in a normal 13-day competition, which is the normal length for an international competition, you'll probably on average get about 6 or 7 actual competing flying days in that time. The rest of the time you'll get either non-storable weather, you might get rain, it might be too stormy. So to give enough days of flyable weather to let the competition even out, give everyone a fair chance, they normally run them over 13 days. Regional competitions and national competitions at airfields around Europe are normally only around 9 days. So it gives an extra 4 days for internationals.
Got you. And your role as team captain, can you tell us a bit about that?
So my role is on the ground for the competition, and it involves an awful lot of bits and pieces, things such as trying to help out with admin, logistics, working with the competition organisers, and kind of an intermediary between the pilots and the competition team, and also working with the other team captains of the other countries. So at these events, you can have easily 100 pilots, and if all 100 of them are trying to talk to the competition team about issues, it becomes overwhelming. So it's good to kind of channel them through the team captain and we have consolidated team captain meetings every few days, or if there are any particular issues, and any rule debates or disputes or opinions and feedback will go through the team captains to that organisation team.
Right.
And then I've been helping the guys out with weather as well, morning briefings, thinking about tactics, strategy around how we want to fly compared to the other teams. And then also a little bit of when they're flying, talking to them on the radio and giving them situational awareness on what the weather's currently doing, timings, and information about how other pilots are doing around the racing task as well.
Right. So the pilots, in a way, have got the easy job, just getting in and flying.
Well, yeah, I think if you ask them, they definitely say something different. Yeah. Yeah, it's both very challenging for both sides, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine. So in terms of the competition itself, it is a closed circuit race effectively, isn't it?
Yeah, so the competition organisers at the airfield each morning will look at the weather and the airspace restrictions, and they will decide on a task for the day which will best fly into the good weather. So that can range at an international normally from around 150 kilometers to 300, 400, 500 kilometers on good weather days. And so they'll set turn points at different locations, and everybody will take for the same time. And then the start line will open 20 minutes after the last glider has launched. And then you can start whenever you want. So it's up to you to decide when you think the best weather window will be. So if you think it's going to take you 3 hours to fly the task, you want to fly in the best 3 hours of the day. So it involves a lot of preparation beforehand. And then once you take off, you can start and fly around as quickly as you can, finding the strongest lift and finding the most efficient route between the thermals as you can to get back in the shortest period of time. And there are an awful lot of tactics involved with that, such as starting ideally a couple of minutes behind your main competitors to then try and catch them up and fly with them for the rest of the day. And if you finish at the same time, that means you've caught up 4 minutes on them and will therefore get more points than them. So there are a lot of start tactics and games that people play, waiting for other people to start and hanging around later in the day. So yeah, it's quite an intense process.
Yeah,
for pilots and those of us on the ground.
It sounds almost like the kind of tactics you get in Formula One racing.
It does, yes, yeah.
Is there any kind of judging of landings or anything like that, or is it purely time based?
Not as far as the competition is concerned. It's only as as how fast you fly around the task. So you'll go through a start line, and then there's a finish ring at the airfield. So there's normally a ring of a 3-kilometer radius around the airfield, and you have to cross that at a certain height and then join the circuit or land straight in on the airfield. So once you cross that finish ring, unless you do anything obviously dangerous or inconsiderate, that's when your racing day is done.
Yeah, fantastic. So going back to July, can you talk us through the medal haul, basically, because you guys did really well?
Yes, we did. It was a fantastic result. We have classes in gliding, which are different types of aircraft. So in this competition, we had 2 classes. We had club class and standard class. Club class are gliders, typically slightly shorter, lower performance, all 50-meter wingspan for both classes. And so the club class are typically slightly older gliders with less enhanced aerodynamics and less detailed designs. And so in the club class, we had an outstanding result. So Finn Slay won the Junior European Championships in the club class. He tied equal points with second place, and then it went down to who had the most day wins, which is where he was luckily able to pull ahead. So it equates to, he won by probably less than 30 seconds of total flying time over the whole competition.
Wow.
Is how the points boiled down. It's pretty close racing. And then in the club class as well, Toby Freeland had a very good result with 7th place overall. And the standard class, which are still 50-meter gliders, but high performance, and they also carry water ballast, which enables them to fly at a higher weight and a higher wing loading and get better performance cruising between the climbs. In the standard class, we had another great result with Tom Davis coming 2nd and Henry Inigo Jones coming 3rd. And then overall, with those excellent results, there was a Team Cup, which is the best performance by a certain country. And we took gold in the Team Cup as well for Great Britain.
Fantastic. Well done. Congratulations. How many other countries were represented?
There were 10 countries in total for the Junior Europeans, slightly more than we would normally get. A couple of countries decided not to compete, such as France or Austria or Switzerland. But normally in the Junior Europeans, we'll get up to nearer 20 countries competing.
Right. And had you, as a team, all worked and competed together before?
So the guys have done an awful lot of preparation before the competition. They went out in Europe, all 4 pilots, back in May, and all of them by one stayed out there for the whole summer. And they flew the Czech National Championships in Tabor, which is the airfield hosting the Junior World Gliding Championships next year. So they use that as an opportunity to fly a competition there and get familiar with the land, planning ahead for next year. And Toby managed to win their national championships in Czech Republic, which was fantastic. And then they drove over to Issoudun in France and had some training and coaching there with a few excellent competition pilots, and then drove to Lithuania. So they arrived in the competition having flown for the last month and a half, 2 months, feeling super current and prepared for the competition. So an awful long time on the road and a lot of miles, but it paid off.
Yeah, fantastic. And do you, or do the guys tow their own gliders from the UK, or do you borrow local aircraft?
Yes. So they've all got their own gliders, and they towed them in the trailers across the channel and then drove them around Europe. So there's an awful lot of planning and paperwork around, obviously COVID requirements and import-export, thanks to Brexit and things to negotiate. So it was a lot of work to get them out there. And then once they're out there, I think they just wanted to stay there to reduce any complications of coming back. But they helped them out massively by being so prepared.
Yeah, fantastic. So you glide yourself, do you?
I do, yes. Yeah, I've been flying about 8 years. I fly at Lasham Gliding Society along with most of the British team pilots. So yeah, at weekends I'll race them and fly my own competitions as well.
Brilliant. And do you think it's a kind of a skill or just an experience that normal fixed wing powered pilots should try?
I definitely think it is. We have quite a few powered pilots coming and learning how to glide, or at least having an experience, and it's quite an eye-opening experience for them. They get to it gives just a really good feel of controls and natural flying without anything distracting away from that, like an engine. It gives you real confidence around flying characteristics such as stalling and spinning, and the ability to put a glider down in a field with the first attempt with no chance of a go around or anything like that. So yeah, I think if anyone's interested, definitely find your local gliding club and go and have a lesson. They'll be more than happy to accept you.
Yeah, fantastic. Have you got any final words, bits of advice or messages that you want to give out to the flyer audience?
I think the main thing is a huge thank you to our sponsors. There's not loads of funding available for gliding in these competitions, and it costs an awful lot of money to get the gliders over to Europe. Entry fees, the cost for the Aeroto launches each day are normally around €55. So after a few months flying, it really starts to add up. And so we've been very, very lucky to have a lot of sponsors to help the British junior gliding team along their way. Namely, Lasham, our own home club, has been very helpful in supporting us. Nav Boys, the avionics supplier and glider repair company, have been very helpful in providing gliders equipment advice. We've had McDonald's York, which have very helpfully given us a donation towards transport fees, fuels, flights, etc. We've got Navita as well for their flight computing equipment. We've had Wingthing for all the team clothing. We've had Vertigo, who provided covers for the aircraft, so they don't have to be de-rigged every day. And we've had Glide and Seek, which is a tracking website that has also helped with tracking for the British team, so the pilots in the air can get more information from people on the ground.
Brilliant.
I hope I haven't missed anyone major off, but yeah, if I have, apologies, but everyone's help has been hugely appreciated.
Yeah, well, congratulations again. It sounds like it was all well worth it. And when's the next big competition?
Thank you. So we have the Junior World Gliding Championships next year in the Czech Republic in Tabor. The guys have flown there this year, and they also flew there last year. We went out for their nationals again. So by the time we get there next year, they'll have flown in the area for 2 years previously, know the conditions, same for pilots. So we're feeling super excited to see what we can do on an even bigger stage next year.
Brilliant. Well, can't wait to watch it. Well, Clem, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good interview, that.
Yeah, it was.
And raising an interesting point. Vince Chadwick asks in the comments, why no coverage of these fantastic wins on mainstream media? At least none I saw. And that's a good question, Vince. And makes me think about the Olympics as well. You know, I think given that there's skateboarding and other stuff in there now, surely we should have aerobatics.
I also in that Christian Dries way, asked the question in the comments while that was on, going, anyone interested if we organised a gliding experience day for club members? And so I think there's probably enough there. I think we should see what we could do. Get a couple of gliding experience days, one down south, one up north.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of people down for that. We'll see what happens. We'll give it a go. Watch this space. Johnny's got nothing else to do.
I've never been gliding, actually, so definitely.
Nope.
What happened there? Sorry, apologies.
Not time to start.
Rogue mouse. Okay. Ed.
But it is time for Fancy Hanger.
There's a video for that somewhere.
There is.
Go, Mark.
So we've had a gliding guest on with Johnny, and while you won't know this, yesterday Flyer got to fly the new Aerobatics Grob 109 Able, which is fantastic. So watch review of that coming up in a future issue. And so based on a few of those things, we decided to pick our favourite motor glider for our Fancy Hanger. So switch those engines off and let's see what we're soaring with.
I think it's Dave is first.
Dave is first.
Right. Well, we should say at this point that two of us have entered the spirit of the thing, chosen sensible aircraft. Two of us have gone a bit left field. Okay, I'm one of the sensible ones, and I've chosen the STEMI S12G, known as the Grand Tourer. This is their top of the range latest model. It's got the usual STEMI features of the foldable and variable pitch propeller installed in the nose. And when you pull back the engine, switch off the engine, the whole thing retracts into there, and you've got a proper glider. And if you want to restart, just press a button and open it goes. But this model has got a revised panel. It's got a Garmin G3X panel, which gives, it's like a modern aeroplane. And it comes with everything there, built-in ADRS, digital engine monitoring, moving map navigation, and autopilot. So this thing can actually be quite a good tourer as well. It's got phenomenal performance, you have to say. This thing has a glide ratio of 1 to 53. So that's 53 feet travelled for every loss of 1 foot in height. It can cruise at up to 140 knots true airspeed at 10,000 feet. And because it's got an engine, it can go up there. And what else? Its climb rate is better than 645 feet per minute, which is not staggering, but it'll get you off the field. And it's got a range of up to 950 nautical miles, which is far longer than my glider could take. So
I think when you go long distances in a glider, you basically find bottles to pee in, or some of the older gliders have pee tubes sticking out the bottom.
Yeah.
Really?
Richard Kennedy's surprised that Dave hasn't chosen a Luskin with the engine removed.
Yeah. I mean, that stemmer is fearsomely expensive. It looks, I have to say, it does look beautiful, and it's very nice. I'm not entirely convinced that you need a glider with an autopilot. But,
No.
But, you know, maybe.
That's it. Who's next?
Who's next?
It's you.
It's you, Ed.
It's me. So I picked the lovely Fournier RF4D. So this is the aerobatic evolution of the RF3. It's a single-seater, famously designed by René Fournier in 1966, powered by a tiny little 39 horsepower VW engine. I know this is a simple thing, but I've always loved these, and so giving it a space in my fancy hangar was a no-brainer.
Okay, so talking of off-piste, it's Johnny next, and I think you'll agree with me that Johnny has not only gone off-piste, he's gone completely off-brief, because the understanding of a motor glider doesn't really... But anyway, Johnny, what have you chosen for your motor glider?
Yeah, well, I've chosen something that can be self-launched. It's got a great rate of climb. It can climb at up to 10, 15,000 feet per minute initially. It's got a 100-foot high aspect ratio wing, which is great for gliding, but it's got a jet engine. So I've picked the U2. Now, this is fantasy hangar. If one day the US Department of Defense are going to sell these off, and theoretically a billionaire or millionaire, you could buy one, as long as you can afford to maintain it and afford the fuel, you could glide in it.
Well, for a start, it's not white. All gliders are white.
I don't know. Well, isn't it cool? Johnny's like uber cool with the black glider, isn't he?
In fact, NASA do have them, and they are white.
They are white. That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Ian, what have you gone for?
I've gone for the ultimate high performance motor glider. I mean, Dave, did you say 140 knots?
Yes, I did. Yes.
I mean, how fast was yours, Johnny?
Maybe a couple of hundred knots.
This is the ultimate motor glider. Self-launching. Get. It needs a bit of help to get launched, and then it's a glider. It's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, and this is fantasy hangar. Can you imagine? You walk around the corner, and there you go. There's Dave's stemmer stuck in the corner somewhere, and everyone's going, "Yeah, plastic, fantastic, whatever." There's Johnny's U2, and they go, "Well, that's quite interesting, but it's not a glider, is it?" There's Ed's RF4, which is a fantastic airplane, but it's hidden under the U2. And then right in the middle, there's a bloody space shuttle. Everyone's going to go, "Oh my God, that's just awesome." You're never going to use it, are you? Clearly, because you'd need to be Richard Branson's Hawked fixed wing airplane. Wave sustained soaring flight without thrust.
Paul so Ian's going to be quiet, but Paul
says
it's a fixed-wing aeroplane equipped with means of propulsion capable of sustained soaring flight without thrust from the means of propulsion. So, and I guess if we switch our engines off, so my glide ratio is 20-1. John, Dave, what was yours? Yours was 35-1.
No, 1 to 53 to 1.
Well, okay. So mine's 1 to 35. Johnny's, I think yours is. What's yours?
23.
Okay, so that's really good. Ian, what's your shuttles?
Mine's 1 to 1, but that's at Mach 5.
Now, and there's no question that your shuttle is very cool, and that is falling with style. And it is cool, except when you're being roasted at 1,650 degrees as you fall through the atmosphere.
I mean, I grant you, it's not a good airplane for scratching around on a low thermal day.
No.
You're going to need to pick a field quite quickly.
The kind of thermals you need are off the sun.
Well, they're all off the sun, aren't they? But a little bit closer.
Yeah, but literally off the sun.
Yeah, fair enough. But I still think that's it. So what else? What have we got any inspiration
what came up in the comments? Well, so it came up in the comments. We had Bernard the Wondered Badger suggested space shuttle. Vince Chadwick said Ed wins. Michael Ward says Dave wins. Catkin says space shuttle. Keir Williams says U2. Julian Treadwell says RF4. Dave White says U2. So
well done, Dave.
It's
hard to pick a winner.
Well,
clearly Johnny wins. Actually, Johnny's coming out ahead here.
Although that does say unless Ian chose the space shuttle.
Yeah, well, of course Ian chose the space shuttle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Norris says Ed wins. So Dave White gets all kind of philosophical and quotes Douglas Adams and says the chips hung in the sky in much the same way that bricks don't.
There's a great line in some of the reading about the shuttle when it was saying, at Mach 5 the glide ratio is 1-to-1, a little bit like a Steinway.
Anyway, all good choices, and we could all store our aeroplanes underneath your massive glider.
I think I could aspire in that lot to own an RF4 substation. That wouldn't be. I wouldn't have to dream too much. I think a U2 probably going to cost me a little bit more than I've got.
Yeah,
space shuttle definitely.
We did learn in the research stage that someone, at least on one occasion, someone did shut a U2 engine down and purposely had to glide, didn't they?
Yeah, to save fuel. And funnily enough, I've shown a good 4 or 5 U2 pilots around the RF4 in our hangar, and they loved it because it's like a mini U2. It's got the outriggers, it's got the same wheel setup.
They're going to look so stupid in an RF4 in a spacesuit, aren't they?
That's like even worse than getting out of a yak in a flying suit, isn't it? I've probably offended a whole load of people, but getting out of an RF4 in a pressure suit. It's like, my other rides are U2.
Right, time to move on for some events. Dave, do you want to rattle through the events?
Rattle through events, yes. Well, obviously the big one this weekend is the Microlite Trade Fair and Flying. That's on Saturday and Sunday. What? At Popham? Yep. At Little Gransden on Saturday, there's an aerobatic competition. We've already mentioned the Shuttleworth Flying Circus, Old Warden, also on the Saturday. There's a Vintage Piper Aircraft Club event on Saturday. It's shifted to Dunkerswell from Eaglescott. So make sure you go to the right place. And 15th, the Sunday, is World Helicopter Day, apparently. And if you go to the World Helicopter Day website, you can see a list of activities that are going on around the world. And yes, there are a few in the UK as well. Just looking ahead very quickly, there's a couple of events coming up overseas, and we might even be allowed to go to them at the moment. So the Vintage Aerobatic World Championship is being held at a place called Odense in Denmark from the 19th to the 22nd of August. And in France, that is the Aero Classic Flying at, you'll love my French accent, in Saint-Rambert d'Albon, which apparently is south south of Lyon. That's from the 27th to the 29th of August. It looks like a very nice event, actually. There's details of all these on the Flyer website, of course.
Excellent. Johnny, in the minutes remaining, tell everyone about the benefits of the club.
I'll be very quick. Obviously, we'll all be at the LAA rally, so we'll get some kind of club meetup sorted for that, so we can meet you, give you some goodies, and see you all. We've got a webinar from Dave White on the cards. We've not quite worked out exactly when yet, but stay tuned for more, and we'll get that out to you soon. Thank you to everybody who went to the UPRT day on last Sunday with Greeners and his team. Thank you to Greeners and the rest of the Ultimate High team for putting that on. Everybody really enjoyed it. And of course, if you want all these benefits, you can join from £7.50 per quarter. Just go to flyer.co.uk and look for the club tab up here somewhere.
Great, fantastic. So it leaves me to thank Sky Demon once again for sponsoring the live stream. To remind people that on Monday at 7 o'clock, there's the FAA Certificated Pilots webinar that will be on here with Nigel Webb and Owen Jones and a couple of others. And on Wednesday, our inaugural 3 p.m. little behind the scenes live stream preparation and a few other bits and pieces thing for club members only. And we'll be sending you an email with the link for that. So we look forward to that, see whether that works and how it goes. So thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Doesn't look like it's going to be stunning weather. So you can put the suntan away and we'll see you next week sometime. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Fly safe, everyone. See ya.
My mouse is gone again. Come back. Come back. Here it is. There you go. Thank you.
Bye.
No, there it is.